family. All of our power is in and out. So we want to remember and we want to understand it's in and out. You know what I'm saying? So we want to be able to focus and find what we need so that we can build. So we can build what it is that we need to build, right? So now once again on the Hangouts. So if people want to call in on the Hangouts, they can do that as well. I will post up the link for YouTube once again. It's going to be a different link. I apologize for the faux pas, but shit happens. You know what I'm saying? We're living in a world where things happen, and hey, the world where things happen. You know, when mistakes happen, you know what comes from mistakes? Improvements. Right, and I had a great conversation last night, man. It was so good. A brother pulled out a tape recorder. Man, this type of energy that I'm around, right? And my goal is to expand that energy. So brothers like Shaka who are in, you know, where he might not be blessed to be surrounded by the people, by people that are striving for something, because it's cool to be successful, family, but to be able to be conscious and be successful and be able to do stuff for your people is where we need to be pushing. It ain't enough to be successful by yourself, because also wealth is not only a community property, but success is a community property.
This call is being recorded.
The only way that you are able to hold on to success, family.
Okay.
The only way that you are able to hold on to success, the only way that you are able to hold on to wealth is if it is within a community context. Because what happens is fame, or just like wealth, your money and your time will begin disappearing because you're trying to do something with your family, with those around you that need. If you're famous, you can't maintain your fame because you're giving all these favors and doing all these things for people around you, just like wealth. Because it's like this: wealthy, and you're the only one wealthy in your community, then people are going to take from you. People are going to leech off of you. People are going to depend on you. And a lot of us being the way we are, and what's going to happen? Our wealth will descend. This is why Black folks have to get up and move out. But even when they move out, you still have family that can always find you. It's like you got a tracking device on you. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's always, they seem like they are, because I'm not the only one on this. You know when you get paid. You know what I'm saying? They calling. You know what I'm saying? And they're draining your wealth. And they're not doing it on purpose, because we are living in a situation, family, where we, as successful as these videos want you to look, family, I need you to understand the truth. Family, as Black folks, we are struggling. So to finish the toast, almost done, to finish the toast, we need to realize that we, in the now is where our power is. In the now is where we make our changes. In the now is where we come up. So we lift up our glass and we say Ashe. Family, we lift up our glass, we toast our children, our children's children onto infinity, because it's important that we realize on why we're doing this. Our future generations are why we're doing this, and understanding that we are generational people, which means that when we come back, because we're coming back to the same bloodline that we left. So if we leave that bloodline broke, if we leave that bloodline traumatized, we're coming back into a broken, traumatized situation. We're coming back into an unconscious situation. We're coming back into a zombie-like situation. This is, family, preparing our children to handle the legacy that we leave them and to build upon it. So we lift up our glass to our children in advance, so that our children will have enough sense to lift up the glass for us when it's our time to make our transition. Family, all of our relations, and then we're going to toast you to peace, power, and joy, because I know Shaka, because Shaka had a powerful discussion going on before he left. So I want to make sure that he get it in. All right, Shaka. I toast you, and we say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Second rule of the toast: you not only drink water, but you also got to have a health drink. It's not counted as a health drink at this time. Counted as a health drink at this time, unless you made it yourself. even then it's kind of questionable. A wine that you brewed, or you know somebody that made the wine, that's considered it. But go ahead, somebody else is up on the line too. Uh-oh, Chucky, you hung up on me, man? Come on back, man. Well, who the hell is somebody else came? We got somebody from who that from Georgia?
Chuck, what's up, buddy? Jojo Hill.
How you doing today? Good.
Oh man.
I'm good, man. I'm just on to support my brother Shop.
Yes, sir. It sounds like you online, JoJo, and I figured like this is what you do. I've checked out your go Facebook Live. You have some very important things to say as well. Hashim, this is not JoJo's first time on air on your show. Remind folks that this is a brother who all about the right thing, who produces music and a great network of music producers and folks like that. I welcome you this morning to be a part of this brand new year with us. How do you feel so far, JoJo?
So far, I'm laying down, and I ain't even up and at him yet. It's gonna be a great year. Gonna be some great year. Chuck, I got the messenger from you. And I said I can just hop on, just support you. She just kind of listened, and I don't want to be too much participating because when I'm up and I'm at them on 100 miles an hour. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. This I do know. This I do know.
So who else on the line with?
It's just this brother Hatim.
See, good to meet you.
Once again, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a conversation and we're gonna try to fire you up, my friend, because this is the piece, man. We're in 2018. It's our time. We just got done toasting the answers. Conversation beforehand, and I accidentally cut him off. Handle all your own stuff. So don't finish.
Yep.
Don't finish your conversation.
All right. So let me kind of give the cliff notes of where
Call
the conversation
recording
was.
off. This call is being recorded.
I hear that? Okay. Okay, no problem. So what it comes down to is in Columbus, there is a great vibration within the rites of passage culture, in which I was there in Cleveland, was one of the first classes of Paul Hill Jr.'s program in foster care. I was mandated the program actually. By the time I reached college and got down to Columbus, I met Brother Hatim. Just kept, growing within the circuit. The whole piece that where rites of passage culture is today, like it deserves to be celebrated because for a lot of different cities that I've experienced, the events and Juneteenth events, Columbus is where strongest in my experience. And what I was saying to Brother Hatim earlier is that, I knew what your role was before. How that is transcended to such a great obligation, and for you to still hold it together. But keeping your network, keeping positive, strong-minded folks in your network, totally different conversation. But I commend you on it. and raising it up to be what it is, and you know, today, and really putting the emphasis on the way that you do. It's something that I don't experience here in Cleveland. I experience that there's so many fragments of culture. The continuity is just not there. So whatever magic the universe has bestowed upon you, I'm saying that this is a magical time in history. What you're doing, only like you said, you know, just keep refining it and keep it getting bigger and better. You do this thing from 4:15. I don't know what.
Yeah, I'll explain that in a minute, but go ahead.
Morning, you've done this in 2017, not just during Kwanzaa. It takes that type of integrity. It takes now, you know, that you have organizers to be able to appeal to the college age students so that you can get some interns to be able to deal with the technical stuff that you're dealing with and post-production, so that when it comes to now, as it goes down in history, it's something that you want to put your stamp on.
And that's the next step for me, right? Because I don't know if you remember, but I started an organization called MAC years ago, right? And I saw the importance of getting it people out there, because the whole piece is, man, it's all about, for me, it's all about culture. As the African culture, stress the importance of the elders, man. The importance of the elders. And I have been kind of disconnected from the in Columbus because of the part on Simba piece. But when I got away from the Simba piece, for what was still strong here in Columbus. And when I went back, you know what I'm saying, I started looking at the elders. You know what I'm saying? With elders, what you start finding is you find people who have been steadfast for years, right? And I'm like, dude, all they need is some support. And we need to build that support. Nation builders, that's the whole, right? Because in this, we got to kind of build backwards, because in a traditional sense, we will be building people up towards eldership. But right now, we got to build backwards because the village is down. So I'm like, I have to come up with different things and different ideas where I'm able to connect what I'm doing with some of the young people with what the elders are doing, and still why I still got enough energy to keep moving. Brother Kwame say, I still maintain the 415, and then I join the rest of us at 5:15. So it's all, oh God, there's the mathematician. He doing the 4:15. I will be back on the 4:15. Energy start to rise, start getting easier for me again to get back up at that 4:15. But hey, at 4:15, and like I said, and what start to happen is the cream always rises to the top. Every culture needs priests. Every culture needs individuals that are willing to push the culture forward. And that's what a priest does. A priest are individuals for the culture and in a sense magnify the culture for the people and do things that the people can't do for themselves. That was the purpose of the culture. They keep it sacred. So by us getting up, by us contacting and talking about our ancestors, by us having sacred discussions in the morning, it inspires people. So you will have people from Columbus just happen to go by my space book, and they see me doing stuff for a while. So it's kind of like, and then on top of that, I'm doing a show, Folk Tales for Grown Folks. I'm doing let me tell y'all the folk tale for the night while I'm thinking about it. I'm doing all this stuff online, so it's like, boom, so that I find a way to connect it with individuals that are in support of this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And there may be other connectors, but one of the things with Columbus that's a little bit different in Cleveland is hit by a little bit. Y'all have a little bit more competition up there. It's fewer resources, so y'all got people competing for shit. But one of the things that I'm learning right now is outside people are funding what you're doing, you always gonna have issues. You know what I'm saying? One of the beautiful things.
And that's what I wanted to bring to your attention earlier. Tim, you were talking about the sister that's building with you down there right now. She did, 4 or 5 of these events during the course of the year. Is all she would need. Well, here's the piece. That's another thing. And shout out to BHB for this one. That's another thing that I recognize about the hustle that I experienced in Columbus culture. BHB, Brother Helping Brothers, Brian Burgess, whatever you want to call him, is a hip hop pioneer in Columbus, Ohio. And he is really, honestly, the glue of the hip hop culture. But he, and I can't tell you how many years he's been doing this. It's got to be over 20 years right now that he has hosted the Hip Hop Expo and the Hip Hop Showcase on a routine basis. It's the Hip Hop Expo, and every October case at the convention center.
Right.
And these are the only events throughout the whole course of the year in terms of the hip hop, the Columbus hip hop niche or community. You know what I mean? Right. And it's not just for Columbus. People come in from all over, not just all over Ohio, but people come. I believe that PHB is the most attended hip hop event in Ohio. That's just me. Mm. And I'm here in Cleveland with the Ohio Hip Hop Awards.
How's that going?
Go ahead.
How's that going up there?
Hey, shout out to BHB and the Hip Hop Expo. I don't want to mix two conversations up.
Yeah, I can dig it. I can dig it.
I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to do. And the thing about Cleveland is that Clevelanders don't understand that when you are dark on Cleveland and all the hatred that, in these little kind of niche environments, that only affects you. Like people outside of Cleveland, what do they know about Cleveland besides LeBron, Bones, Browns and shit? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what Cleveland is to them and what you project. So shout outs to Voices Radio. Hi, Tim. I feel like that's a resource here, Cleveland, that I'm trying to get into so that we can broaden this voice for nation builders. All right. Voices Radio is here. Internet streaming radio. But beyond that, like I said, you have a lot of fragments that if they work together, house. And you can't just do it from a business end. You have to do it, and this is my main message. So this is my punchline. In order to be successful with this year and moving forward, to identify, bring what is sacred to the bidding table in all your, not just in all your relations, but in all your transactions. That's what we're missing. That's what we're missing in our practice in Cleveland. It's something sacred. With straight ego, and we with our credentials, and we're looking at it like, yo, I've been a nation builder since before you even thought of the term. This is who I am on paper. This is the numbers that my organization can bring in. This is why we need this funding and not you. Because I know something, or I've gone through something that you haven't gone through, and that's not what nation building is. Able to cultivate economic process that feeds everybody, reciprocity, something sacred to the table. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. But how you say that to be explained?
Right. Right.
See, between you and me, it's a totally different conversation than somebody that doesn't know us, someone who isn't acculturated like us. So every time they start sounding like us, it offends the nature of what we've gone through because we are still there.
So now, dude, because like I said, you know, we have to because what's being done here, I believe, can be done anywhere. But like I said, but the key piece is bringing that team together, and that's what we have to strive to do with the Cleveland piece, because there's a lot of stuff going on in Cleveland that's not going on here. But like you said, it's so fragmented, and we got to understand, man, that that's part of the enemy's. That's part of what we up against. If I keep you on pieces, I ain't never got to worry about y'all coming together to solve your problems. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying, if I keep you chopped up into small enough pieces, and those that's been following the folk tales for grown folks, you know that's one of the major stories. That's one of the stories, one of the framework of the stories. Keep motherfuckers separated. When you keep your enemy divided, to worry about them adding to your problems, because they're always going to be warring. So in bigger cities or in more industrialized cities, when I'm able to keep you hungry and keep you crowded up in spaces, infighting. In Columbus, you got to remember how spread out Columbus is. You know what I'm saying? Columbus is big as hell. It's spread out. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like we have space to actually think. We have a little bit more time to do things, because in Cleveland, when I used to go to college, when I was going to college and those boys was coming from Cleveland, man, they had a whole different vibe. It's more of a big city vibe than the you know, because in Columbus, slower vibe. You ask me, why don't you want to leave? Because it's a slower, peaceful vibe here. You know, motherfuckers might not be and shit like that, but when it comes to I have time, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel pressed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to get around. So I can be like, cool, I planted a seed there. I can wait 15 years for that shit to grow. Miss Shelley say, know that you must be supported as a whole, no matter where others are in their rights to passage. But yo, and it's like, boom, I accepted where I'm at. And on top of that, I mean, it's just one. Like, I got brothers and sisters who have been struggling with me on this. We might not be in the same rooms all the time, but it's people that I went to Ohio State with. It's people that's coming into the culture that I have been seeing. Because one of the things I stopped doing as well is just stop accepting people because they say, hey, I want to be down. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like there has to be a process. Because this is one of the key words I got for you. What is the lineage that you're coming at me with? Come at me with some idea. Because I brought this up about the discussion that's going on right now, or the falling out that's going on with Tariq Nasheed and brother Umar Johnson.
Right.
We got Royce Watkins. The question I constantly ask is, what is the lineage? Because we got individuals that will raise up as leaders in our community. Why? Because they have certifications from these institutions. Like, yo, or, you know what I'm saying, they made a movie. You know what I'm saying? Or or you know what I'm saying? And my question is always, what is their lineage? Because you should be able to pull on one of these individuals' elders to squash all this shit. Connected to in a certain way to get in touch with you. I know how to get through you, through your lineage. You know how to get through me. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you came to Columbus and I'm wilding out on YouTube and I'm not answering your calls, you know that you know somebody that's going to be able to be like, look, you need to go and tell Tim, you need to sit down for a second. You know what I'm saying? He can't be doing that. We ignore the fact that this struggle has been going on for a long time. And a lot of you Johnny come latelys need to get your ass in line, settle your ass down. You know what I'm saying? And now, not saying that about neither one of the dudes that's beef, but then you still have to ask the question, what is your lineage? I don't give a fuck what you started from. Here, you know what I'm saying? I can trace my shit straight back to my Malika, who I have witnessed myself as an elder. I have witnessed her groups of young people to Africa back and forth, and including taking me, right? And because of her, I met my wife. I sat with No More X, somebody who formed here in Columbus. You know what I'm saying? And who was in the revolutionary struggle here. You know what I'm saying? I sat at the feet of Dr. Mariba Kelsey, Village, who started the Afro Central Personal Development Shop, who gave me my first employment opportunity in an all-black organization. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, brought individuals where I was able to meet in other individuals like myself that I'm still in contact with up to this day. And at this point in time, we're building an institution where we are able to have something like a Kwanzaa. You know what I'm saying? Have something like a Juneteenth. Well, go ahead, bro.
And I wrote this more profoundly on my timeline this morning. So if I misquote myself, then y'all can go back on my timeline and check out what the original thought was. But what I said, at some point in our evolution, own that through ignorance, we have contributed to demise. Only then can we grow strong. Understand the concept, and number one rule in community outreach, where they are.
Right.
Meeting people where they are. That analogy, 99% of the young black men between the ages of 17 and 25 years old that I would meet in the streets of Columbus, no matter what neighborhood we're talking about, when we're stopped, the short north, 99% of them, I need employment. Right?
Right.
If we were to have access to enough jobs to give them all jobs, we will find very fast that that's not the issue.
That's not there. You're right.
We will find very fast as I start passing out applications that 50%, and at this time, during the time that I was outreaching out there, I can honestly say it was probably about 75% when we're dealing with short north. 75% of the problem, you hand them brothers applications for jobs that you've already gotten the managers to vouch for, and you go out here in the field and you hand the application to somebody that you believe in, and they can't even read or write the application. That's what I feel about nation building right now. Just ignore the problem that these brothers are not reading or getting the information the right way, or not practicing the right way, because they go on YouTube and they look for folks like Dr. Umar for a cheat sheet. and they use that cheat sheet against you, who's trying to show them the rootedness of that privilege with going through a sacred process. You can be as bold as you want with the information that you have, but if you haven't gone through the process, then as soon as you put that information out and you regurgitate what you hear Brother or Dr. Umar saying, and people see that you're not practicing it, movement go. Because you become one of the that represent his movement, because there is no sacred process to say that this is the flock that I belong to.
Right, right. Anybody could come in and say, hey, I'm a nation builder. You know what I'm saying? But they can't do that shit. They can't here. We cut that. You can't do that shit. I have my whole piece is I isolated myself, family. And one of the pieces that I want to try to work on within Columbus, and that piece. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, what is your involvement as far as the celebrations? You know what I'm saying? As far as Columbus, what is your role in the Tawee village? What is, you know what I'm saying? What is your lineage? Once again, you know what I'm saying? But now you got individuals, like you said, that could go and take shortcuts, come out of jail, listen to a couple of videos, and because they got a good a gift of gab, they could hold people mesmerized. Suddenly they're master teachers. I'm like, motherfucker, no. Fuck you, whether you in New York, I don't care whether you're in California, I don't care whether you're in Philadelphia, I don't care whether you're in Cleveland, you know what I'm saying? What is your motherfucking lineage? Who is your teacher? You know what I'm saying? Don't do no YouTube shit on me. And don't come at me with no alien shit. Don't come, no, dog. What is the process you have went through to help harness, help connect you back to the culture? You know what I'm saying? Because there's this mental ejaculation enough. You know what I'm saying? Because we are, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, because I mean, we need to be honest. And sisters, y'all need to hear this. Y'all need to tell other sisters. Sound intelligent just so that they can get with you. That's it. It don't even matter because I got a place to stay, and then you start seeing a real nigga. You know what I'm saying? You start seeing who they really are, because there has been no transformation. And one of the things that we're trying to work on here, because by working on putting the celebrations together, so and sitting around with the elders or sitting around at a function, and people getting on your goddamn nerves, and you have to maintain your personal control. You know what I'm saying? Being able to sit through beefs, being able to I mean, hell, we had to basically live in houses together and eat together. You know what I'm saying? We had to eat together. We had to make sure other people within the circle was eating. This is a process. The ones that's going through this process now, and this is sad, is motherfuckers that's out there really hustling. Really, really hustling. I'm talking about, unfortunately, it happens with a lot of our young men in negative situations, and we need to set up those type of situations for our young people now. Where maybe
part of
I'm sorry, go ahead. I know, I'm saying we're putting them in situations.
You're talking about how,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So part of that process, I didn't understand that from a very paternal aspect, a lot of that process you have been doing, but you have not, I'm not going to say that, because there's a lot of elders that do want to see it happen. I've seen you deal with some red tape that really shouldn't have existed because of our own people that fear the transformative state because they haven't gone there. And these people were in scenarios where they, you know, once again, I feel like they were, what do you call it, the activist, and you were in that sense a revolutionary trying to, today, even still building towards that process. Right now, I honestly feel like you are in the refinement of that, but you have to claim it. because you've been doing this forever, right? But the part of the process that we're addressing today with these young men,
right,
is that you can never become someone you've never been unless you go someplace that you have yet to go.
right.
When it comes to the dilemma between the disconnect between Cleveland and Columbus, that is the advantage in this transformative state, because part of their evolution and their transformation has to be to take them from the existence where the crime and the detriment lie. So if you take a kid out of the short north and you move him to Whitehall, you ain't doing nothing different, because he still has access to those same relationships. As soon as somebody calls, one of his boys need help, he's there on the coda. But you take him to Cleveland, is happening there, and you take these Cleveland boys and you bring them down to, all of a sudden, they are pushed in a righteous way into that frozen independent state. In their first year of college, when they experience their first sense of independence, because they're actually away from everything that is familiar to them. That is why it's important to have an anchor, something that represents that sacred thing that you're bringing throughout your journey, that sacred thing that you represent throughout your journey. Has so much more than the average Joe. Go ahead.
What I'm gonna say is, and this is what Simba got right, takes the individual out of the environment and has a sacred place called Simbaland that they take individuals to, Simba and Simpsonland individuals too, in the woods. You understand what I'm saying? So that they can really connect with what's real. Take all the cell phones, take all that stuff, and for a period of time, these individuals are forced to build together, are forced in a sense to survive together. Because that is the tradition. In a sense, when you look at a ancient culture based around manhood rights, the men would have a place where that they would erect that represented the womb of society. Women carry the womb of humanity. Man creates the womb of society. And it's only through that womb of society, space where men teach other men how to be men. A boy comes from a woman, from society. You understand what I'm saying? So that the issue that we have a lot of time is not just we got to remove them from this whole street shit and take them back to nature. You know what I'm saying? And that's like, that only take nothing but a 3 to 5 day excursion. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not even that expensive. You know what I'm saying? We can make it expensive by doing the expensive camp shit. One of the things that I've been able to perfect is how do you do a camp? Can I do the December type camp where we rent a campground? Hell, there's campgrounds in between Cleveland and Columbus where we could bring a group of kids for like $75 to $100 a piece from the parents, or raise that money and be able to keep those kids there for a 3-day weekend and possibly get some changes. But the only thing we have to make sure is that they have that anchor, as you called it, that anchor that they can always remember, pull them back in. You know what I'm saying? Because now they have experienced something as a group, because this is one of the things that's missing, because what young men talk about when they're in groups is personal adventures or other people's adventures. Everybody want to just get together and talk about just boring shit. You know what I'm saying? They want to talk about things that are real in life. But hold on, before we go any farther into the days of the week, day names. Shaka, you need to go and find out what day of the week you was born in. The book for the night is The Dog's House. All right. That's the story of the night. I'm gonna read it real quick so some of y'all that's here early enough, y'all can go and get a piece of it and be ready for the show tonight. I haven't read this. I'm just gonna read it right now, and after this, I'll probably forget it tonight on Folk Tales for Grown Folks. A dog curled up in as small a space as possible on account of the cold of a house. However, when a summer returned again, he lay asleep, stretched at his full length, and appeared to himself to be of a great size. Now he considered that it would be neither an easy nor a necessary work to make himself such a house as would accommodate him. Now I want y'all to listen to that again. Once again, then we're done. The dog's house. I'm a dog curled up in as small a space as possible on account of the cold, determined to make himself a house. However, when the summer returned again, he lay asleep, stretched at his full length, and appeared to himself to be of great size. Now he considered that it would be neither an easy work to make himself such a house as would accommodate him. That's the story for the night. So go and think about that now. Now, also, let's get into these.
I was born on a Tuesday.
No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. Because that's the livest day to be born on. That's that Kuji. That's today. Today is your day of the week. Now, let's experiment with Shaka real quick. Are you sure you was born on Kujichagalia?
Absolutely.
All right. God image is Abe. Name is Kwabena. Female name Abana. You are mainly full of fire and determination. An inspirator. You are bold. You are a risk taker. Inspiration for others. You do well in works of collective responsibility. You inspire people to do what they need to do. You are willing to risk a change. You can bring about a constructive detour. Certain life crises, managed or accidental, are inevitable for you. You risk letting go of familiar protective identity and purpose. For a while, you are exposed and vulnerable. You are forced to live in yourself in a state of uncertainty. And it is from this that you are anew to go through change. Change involves the deepest sort of self-doubt. Too dependent on institutional parent even to contemplate any risk, and the need for change is often mistranslated. Sometimes only people like you can penetrate the self-doubt or neutralize negative projections. You are willing to risk not only losing status or material possessions, you are willing to risk losing your life. That's a day name. You kind of quiet there, brother. Hello?
Hey man, I'm taking it all in. I'm taking it all in. I can't disagree with none of what you just said.
See, and this is part of the science exposing some of these boys with. See, some of these ladies too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, this is a sign. You say, what? It is not hot in here, woman. Listen, this is African science. We broke down being able to predict, not just predict, but being able to identify characteristics in an individual just by the day that they was born on, family. This is why now part of it will be where an individual will be able to be identified by the day he was born on. After they observe the child to determine which ancestor came back, that's when they will receive the rest of their name. This is the identifier. Now let's go and let's look at some information about these day names. I'm reading from an article, a WordPress article. For a long time, most of us have thought, let's skip past all of that. I stumbled upon a book that explains the meaning of these names and their significance, which I thought I should share with all of you. Before I get to the meaning of these names, let me give you a brief overview of a few important points. The Khan calendar has 7 days in a week. Sunday is considered the first day of the week. Saturday is also a day observed as the Sabbath and tradition. Now, remember what I was telling you about at the beginning. I want y'all to keep that in mind. Go back to the beginning of this. Those that are on Facebook, when you look at it, when I'm talking about how they try to align African history with the Bible rather than aligning the Bible with African history. You know what I'm saying? We need to stop surrendering our shit to other people. You know what I'm saying? We surrender and belittle ourselves when we do that shit. You know what I'm saying? We need to stop it. But hold on. Boom, boom. It is worth noting, boom, boom. Akan is derived from Akani, which means broken down, which broken down means first light, as in Kani, first, or Kane, Kania, light, or like Kanara. Y'all, you know, you gotta listen to that. Akan therefore means first primate people and includes other tribes like Ga, Ewe, Dagombi, and Mosai. All right. This has a lot of strange words that you might not be familiar with, but bear with me because I need to go through at least the beginning of this. So, Onyan Kopon, I got a translator over here. I got a sexy translator over here. Onyan Kopon, Kwame, the great name of God. The word Oi Mekopon is what has been corrupted into Onya. Each syllable signifies one of the characteristics of God. O is the shortest and most basic name of God in Akan. It signifies his or her universality, perfection. This has something to do with the sun, signifies a being or agent capable of achieving a purpose, as in Onipa or Oboade or Onyan Safo, etc. Aya, which can be written Ya, Ja, or Ea, meaning being or agent, has been corrupted to Ya or Inya, which connotes wisdom, as in Nanyansa. Me or me signifies a self, consciousness, personality. May also means I in Akan and could mean satisfaction as found in the word omia, satisfaction. Ko means one and points to the oneness of God as a being without a rival. Pan means great and depicts the supremacy of God as the sovereign of the universe. This idea of greatness appears in the words like Pan and Odupan, etc. Now, check this out. Kwame, don't get big-headed if you're still out there. Gye-Nyame, the Kande name for God. Now check this out. The Kande name for God is Kwame, which was originally called Yame or called Ayame, basically broken up into syllables, Ko, Ya, and Me. Ko means life, as found in Kosua, egg, which winly is Ko, Su, Ya, right? Literally, life, water, being, signifying water containing life being. Su is the ancestral form of Insuo, water. A.J. Koto, crab, translate into empty life because of a crab's hollow nature and emptiness. Ya, Aya, means agent. Being is Igaya. May means satisfaction or I. Putting the syllables together, Ko Ya May translate into satisfied father of life. It is for ease of pronunciation and assimilation of the sounds that Koya became Gwa. Goya, Wa, through contraction. Hence, Kwa means father of life, wisdom, or the life being, signifying original source of life. Kwa is therefore also one of the basic names of God. Interestingly, All the day Akan male names begin with Kwa, as will be explained soon. I'm gonna go with that a little bit farther tomorrow. Y'all hear all the syllables and shit. But you know, and it's like, so when we get into where they talk about in the other definition, God image, you know what I'm saying? In that word, Onyan Kopan, you know what I'm saying? You have all of the syllables will break down into the God image. Each name has a connection to that spirit within God. You know what I'm saying? So it's like your day name is showing what power of God you can demonstrate. You understand what I'm saying? It's sort of like a superhero name. It's like, yo, so when we start looking at these definitions, we're looking at, in a sense, our superpower. And one of the things that has been hidden from us is our superpower. And one of the things we need to start exposing our young people to, power, so that when they start hearing it, they what were you reading that from? That is really interesting, interestingly deep thought. That is from I'm gonna try to post it up because I tried to post up one yesterday, and it didn't act right. And you know, he don't be playing. So she
So I got a question for
go
you,
ahead.
Tim.
Go ahead.
Now, okay, so I take it that Akan is practiced in Ghana.
Well, actually, Akan is a people. See, we got to understand that a people and a religion wasn't separate. That's some whole West Asian shit. And the culture was the religion. It wasn't even, we didn't have terms for that. So that's a people. And it's groups of people that include, and well, I'm gonna go back to, hold on. Send it up on the timeline right now, that article. I'm gonna post up the other one. Because Miss CeeLo wanted it, and she was like, that was a whack link you put up before, Brother Hot Tim. You know, they don't be letting me slide at all. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool, right? But the Khan people, as they describe here, um, 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 the word Akan does not only refer or means tree-speaking tribes, as erroneously thought. Akan is derived from Akani, which when broken down means first, light, as in Kani, first, or Kania, light, Akan, first people, and includes other tribes like Ga, Ewe, Dagomba, and Mosai. So Akan is a large group of people. It's not a faith. Like I said, you know, we only started separating ourselves from separating the faith from us when we started fucking with these West Asians. You know what I'm saying? With the incursions. Because for them, everything is weaponized. You know what I'm saying? Religion is weaponized. So it's used as a tool to dominate you. Oh, your faith can't compete with mine. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to impose what I believe on you, because if I can get you to believe what I believe, up the belief, I can control your actions. So a culture, when you get involved with a culture and you understand your culture, you understand that your culture has everything in it. You just have to be wise enough to adapt with some of these motherfuckers that we're dealing with. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So here's the piece, man, is that part of the process that has led me, I'm at the movement, is recognizing separate
is, in a word, entitlement. And what brings us together is, so I started thinking a lot more about what is common in our practice, and our basic behavior before we get to scripture, is that one word can divide us. In scripture, it has, and it is evident in religion, because religion is a system of control. The piece that I'm getting to is that when you look at even just the concept of a Khan, along with the concept of Ifa, which is more
Yoruba.
Nigerian.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And then you look at all of the Sun dynasty, not just Nubia and Egypt, but the Mayan Empire and the Aztecs. So when we look at what is in those belief systems and cultures, it's a lot of the same information, a lot of the same stories, a lot of the. Go ahead.
Now I'll talk to my wife. Go ahead.
So I remember even watching, and shout out to Mel Gibson, because I think he get a lot of. He must have been born on Tuesday. Okay. But so I remember one very powerful scene. Have you ever seen the movie Hatem Apocalypto?
Yes.
I remember one powerful scene as right after they got captured and they were being tied up and crossing the river. The mother, she's leaving all her young, and the eldest must have been 12, and she's on the shore and she's shouting out to her mom as she's been captured and taken across the river. Shout out to her mom, don't worry, they're mine now. Talking about all the rest of the children. And all now was hers to take care of. And the mother, she says a prayer. She says the prayer. It sounds like she's speaking to Oshun, and that she's saying the prayer to, and you correlate it to Oshun and these other. It's all the same thing. And over here in the West, a lot of times we're cut out of that information because we are caused to believe that those people are theistic and that they believe in more than one God. And that's what's different about the savage way, this way where we believe in one God. You see what happened there, though?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How in certain states we don't speak of gods or deities but we speak of angels, and they're permissible.
We speak in theistic. We talk about God in many different shapes and forms, but all these shapes and forms work towards one great deity. This is what you see, faiths. You know what I'm saying? Or traditional, because I don't like using the term religion,
right,
because religion kind of corrupted that. And one of the pieces that I came to terms with is that it's not my job to reach everybody, and I'm not going to reach everybody.
Yeah.
A critical mass, about 5 of us, and we're able to come together and do something, then my work is done. You get as many cuss words in a sentence or two as Marimba Ani gets syllables in sentences, and that's saying something, my brother. I strive to impress. lexicon. You know what I'm saying? I've been honing my skills of cussing from a very, I started late because my grandfather would have killed me. Up under his tutelage, I strove to perfect cussing. You know what I'm saying? And and at 50 years old, I feel like I cut loose finally because my grandfather passed away a few years ago, and he still had one good slap left in him, and I was able to dodge that. I'm quite sure on the spiritual level, I'm getting the shit slapped out of me, but I still hold on to these words of power. No, the major reason I cuss, man, is this. I found out that I have to throw my people into a trance. I'm just being honest with you. So I can use words and I can talk with you plainly, right? But then if I throw in something funny or I throw something in kind of harsh, see it different. I see something different in the crowd. And I noticed that when I was young. I do that, gets into most people, but then you always have those, like, I'm in a professional environment. Do it. Motherfuckers shut up, they listen, and then all of a sudden the professional come in and be like, oh, you cussed at me. I can't hear nothing you said. Well, fuck you then. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole piece is I'm dealing with my kids. I'm trying to save my kids, and you can't hear my frustration. You can't hear my passion. I don't even need to communicate. You know what I'm saying? I don't even need to communicate with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it happened. I mean, I remember the same exact thing happened to me in the barbershop. And had something that really inspired the whole
I know you
shop.
do, bro. Go ahead.
And then I saw somebody, and we had a conversation. It took me back to high school, and I called him a motherfucker, and they heard it. And then the shop owner was like, oh. He's like, man, you know what? I was just about to ask you what your YouTube name was, because I'm about to be on your channel. I'm about to listen to your with that. And a man of God mind don't talk like that. And I get it, and I accept it. You know what? If all it took was a word to divide us on this day, for you to like dismiss everything else to fit into this mold of what you expect me to be like, imagine what the day gonna be when you finally meet Jesus. But Jesus ain't never tell me not to cuss. I don't know where in the Bible that happens, but I'm not sure that. Hey,
that was between the thee and the thou.
Sure
you missed that.
Let's say that again.
That was between the thee and the thous. You missed what you don't speak thee and thou.
I'm just saying, Hatem, who's to say that you don't go to heaven? That when you get up to the pearly gate, Jesus don't come to the gate to greet you and give you power and tell you good shit. I'm not sure that that's not going to happen.
Hey, I'm not in disagreement with you. Brother Kwame said, "Medu Neta is what we all strive for." So
yes,
so the divine speech, and it's like
having no style.
Right.
That was the whole point.
There you go. Like, because I have experienced individuals like you experienced in the shop, and like I said, I don't have time for that, because if you can't if you can't hear me, if you can't see that it's passion, because ignorant person is expression of ignorance, and Kwame just brought that up. You know what I'm saying? Because Kwame, he very funny dude. But then it does brings No, he said, no, my brother. So it was right. So I thought it was written wrong. Medu nefer. What's
Medu
the
nefer.
No. He's saying not netter. He's saying medu nefer. You know what I'm saying? So because he's studying this right now. So what does medu nefer mean? I mean, he's gonna give it to us in a second, but you know, it's like individuals that can't hear. It's like, yo, hey, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not for everybody, and that's the piece. That's what we have to get to, and we got to be comfortable with that. It's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with that. You don't have to tune into my YouTube channel. I tell people all the time, the practice of good speech. So it's being able, and good speech for me is being able to move people. I mean, you know, I ran into the funniest thing the other day. One of my partners sent me a YouTube video, and it's a pastor that called himself the cussing pastor.
Yes, I saw that.
This dude got this dude almost got 100,000 followers. People are really tired. Huh? He got because people are really tired. These fake talking individuals. You know what I'm saying? These polished individuals. You know what I'm saying? They spend so much time polishing their speech, their actions. You know what I'm saying? They're not.
Quiet as kept. I feel like that's the same. You know what? No disrespect to the brother, but I feel like that's the same reason why Tyler Perry created is because for the niche audience that he appeals to, it takes that strong feminine voice of reverence to really appeal the message, because that's what they know and that's what they trust. Why? But it is what it is, because everybody has a rhythm.
Right now, Hatim, you have your own rhythm. Brother Kwame has his own rhythm. All right? And in order to inspire, one thing that I say is everyone has a rhythm. In order to inspire change, you have to tap into of the people. And when you tap into the rhythm of the people, especially that they're familiar with, it's easier to get the message across because they're not spending so much time deciphering where you come from, because the language says it all. The language says it all. So for those, I remember, I remember seeing this thing, they were talking about Bernie Mac and how we're not ready for him because half of the time they were not able to understand what he was saying. No, it wasn't Bernie they were talking about, it was Robert Harris. And Robert Harris did not get his break until this particular show happened, because people couldn't understand what he was saying to get his punchline in the venues that he wanted to get booked at, until they opened up venues that appealed to Black folk. Robert Harris was not really a successful comedian. So when I saw that thing about the brother, the pastor, the cussing, what do they call him, the cussing pastor? Right.
Hey, I knew that he was that was his onslaught. Now, what he does from this point, I don't know if 6 months from now, however, but once he starts to establish some level of influence, saying that in order for him to get big the way that he could, like a televangelist would, he needs a team around. And I don't know. Good luck finding that team. Yeah, he's definitely going viral right now.
Miss Shelley says there is a most necessary wake-up call. Emergencies should not be treated. They are not urgencies. It is difficult to heighten a better language by insufficient curse. I'm aware, however, that it's important to recognize the audience. In essence, though, we don't have enough time to say things sweetly. This means war. So, I mean, it's like we are in an emergency situation trying to communicate some important information, but yet we got to slow it down so that we can talk to you in a polished way when our enemy is not polished in how they bust us over our head. I'm dealing with death. I got death breathing down my neck, and I need to build a tribe to protect my children. I'm not coming at people. I don't have time to come at people and make you feel good. I'm not using quote unquote curse words. I don't have time for that shit. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? And Kwame, I'm way off your point, because the joke you spoke was something that you already know. I experienced that shit. It was certain things that I really need to grab when you was working them through on the mathematics. So I had to come out and say what I said. For those that got lost and confused by what I said, they don't speak the code. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand. We are in urgency. You know what I'm saying? We got young people looking at mathematics like it's nothing urgent. You know what I'm saying? Like these equations can't help us. Like learning how to solve an equation can't help you learn to solve problems. Your life is full of problems, young brother. You need to learn how to do what this man is doing. You need to be able to sit down and listen. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of us can't. Everything is politically correct. And as Sister Sheila said, we're not giving it to them with a sense of urgency. Usually when you cussing or when you doing stuff like that, it's because there's a sense of urgency there. This point across. We have to get there. Get your ass up and let's move. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and then there's this other side, though, Jim.
Go ahead.
There's this other side, and I'm just being the devil's advocate. Especially in our state of urgency, is when to us as leaders. And if that tongue does not convince us to move forward with you, we will lose. Yeah?
No, dude, check this out. Let me tell you something. It's Sparta. Right? We really need to study not to worship, but for the stories. When you look at any society, man, it's only 10% of the society that fight a war. It's less than 10% of a group that fights. Motherfuckers. I'm just being, this coming. I don't need all these people. Because one of the things that we have to understand, that if there's a battle coming, a whole bunch of people that look like me is holding rifles. That's going to have to make a critical choice. I don't need everybody. We got to understand this, family. We don't need everybody. We don't need all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all are what my elder Normal taught me. He said, you know, brother, in wars you always have cannon fire. I said, what's that, Normal? Normal said, you always got to have a group of individuals that are good at catching bullets. Then first, when they coming, those people that are not convinced to move, you know what they do? They slow down my enemy, because my enemy is going to take time to kill them while they're coming after me. So I don't need them. All I need less than 10%. Because when you look at Sparta, a lot of people don't know, but when you watch that movie 300, and the movie, because when you look at the political system of Sparta was one of the most fucked up societies that you could actually have. You had, if you look at the shields in Sparta, they form, I think, the lambda, that is an upside down V. The tip of it is a spear, and if you go up to the smallest part of the tip, that represents the Spartans. Show them, or business people that they could not do without. So you had like 10% of 10% of Sparta running everything, right? And those was the warriors. Going back to say that, man, it's always below 20% of the people that protect, that build, that do all the work for the other 80%. All these people. Some of the people that you could, family, we almost got our pick out here, because all we need is a few good men, for real. A few good men, a few dedicated men, a few good women, a few dedicated women, and we can win this shit. I don't need the millions. The amount of people that's in the United States military, that percentage of whatever the United States military is exactly what we need. Because it only takes a critical mass. Because unfortunately, when I look at ancient Kemet, I always look and see the Pharaoh, for me, can shepherding tools, because a majority of the people are fucking sheep anyway, and they need a flail to put some paint on their ass, and they need a crook to pull them. You know what I'm saying? You're going the wrong way. We're going this way. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? A majority of people are like sheep.
Right.
Unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? And it's the few that will be able to get up. It's a few that's going to be able to do the work. It's a few that's going. It's always like that. It has always been like that. You know, so when you hearing these people talking to you and being like, all of us are the leaders, fuck that. I'm just being honest with you. Because, listen, I don't believe in groupthink. And in most cases, I don't believe in the wisdom of the crowd. Because when I look around some of the crowds I be in, it'd be some of the dumbest motherfuckers that you could possibly have. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's just think about some of the crowds that you just be in. And people start talking about, well, you know, the wisdom of, nah, dog. You know what I'm saying? When I'm with my folks, I go with the wisdom of the crowd. When I'm with y'all, I'm not doing the wisdom. Wisdom of the crowd don't work for me, which I don't know. I see you over there picking your nose. No, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? It don't take everybody, Shaka. And we got to be clear on that.
You're right. You're right.
And we got to start telling people that.
You're starting to sound a little bit gurgly. I don't know if there's anything you do on your end, but I was able to hear what you had to say. And all I'm saying, Hatem, that is, I mean, when it comes to language versus language barriers, that is good for your flock. We have to maintain a certain, unless we're closing the gates to our alliance, we have to just be conscious of the energies in the words that we use, appealing to not the masses, but those who believe in where we're going. All right.
But check it out. You know, for a long time, the French, they thought that their language was cruel, and didn't even want to learn the language. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But when France needed Germany, you know what I'm saying, to partner in a war or something like that, they didn't mind speaking. See, the key piece is developing a group and developing resources that people need what you have. It don't matter how you talk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody done worked for a boss that was an asshole. You know what I'm saying? And he might have been talking very disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And the piece I'm saying is, when you need something, because I'm gonna tell you right now, when a balloon goes up, as they say back in the day, as far as wars and shit, when a balloon goes up, how you speaking, if you're able to save their life, then they're gonna be like, hey, you might want to cut down on cussing. But they told a lot of, and listen, and this is what's crazy. I want y'all to think about this. Around with hip hop, most of the people that the elders told, you know, elders can be mad at me with this one, that the elders told, you need to clean up your language. You don't need to cuss. The elders never bought their CD. And a lot of good rappers, came because they took the elders' advice. You need to clean up your language. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right. You're right.
You know, see,
I'm just, you know what, the level that I'm speaking on, man.
Go ahead. But hold on.
Is, can you hit? Go ahead.
Brother Kwame say, we use the method necessary to reach the audience with whom we speak. If we speak to the deaf people, you use some sort of sign language. If you speak to blind, maybe words, maybe braille. That's right. Well, go ahead, brother.
Right. We talk about that. That's just basic communication. Basic communication is body language. I get it, and that's what. And see, that's the soul that we lack even in this conversation. And there's so much interference behind the words that are being said. But the point that I was leading to, Hatem, is can you, with your ability and with your wisdom, hypnotize someone who doesn't speak the tongue that you speak?
Yeah, I've done it. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is the point. Because it's like, boom, I can recognize the audience. But when I walk into a place where I can't really be who I am, right? I already know that I'm not getting the majority of those people anyway. I'm going there because it might be one or two to reach. I'm going, you know what I'm saying? But I'm more comfortable, I'm more powerful in those situations where I'm able to be myself. And what we have to start learning how to do is to build the audience around us rather than having to go to somebody else's audience to speak. You understand what I'm saying?
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to start learning to build the audience so that when right now I'm in a position where I have basically created, or actually my elders have left the audience, have left a legacy of an audience that understand. See, I'm moving the tradition of one of my elders who was known as a cusser. So most of the people that know me in Columbus expect me to do that, because when I'm doing that, I'm channeling or I'm plugging into a long tradition of cussers. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? And
this
you know
is a
what?
science.
Not to say that what you're doing in life ain't shit, but I feel like you could make so much more money than Sam Jackson's voiceover dude. I mean, and we are talking about Sam Jackson is the highest grossing actor of all time.
Is he?
Let's get that out of the way.
He played the same
person. You can Google it yourself.
Wait, hold on. He played the same.
All time.
He played the same person every movie.
Turn down scripts.
No, what I'm saying is, but he played the same. He played the same person all the time.
That much easier.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying.
saying is that when it comes to voiceover work right now, when it comes to voiceover work, you could make millions with his overage, because he ain't got that much time to not turn down scripts no more. Everybody's gonna hand him scripts, you know. So that's just something to think about with your connections in LA. There's not a lot of people I throw that around with, like, you know, to do Sam Jackson's voice. That's something that you can do, and it's actually I'm pretty sure right now has a viral video on YouTube, and it's not none of his clips from the movies. You know what it is?
What?
It's a bedtime story called "Go to Fuck to Sleep."
No, I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna check this out.
Right.
It's been a great conversation, but I'm gonna have to go on. My kids is gonna be waking up soon. But like I said, we will be here at the same time. Kwame will be up at 4:15. For those that want to pour libation earlier, I will be up at 5:15. Well, I'm gonna be up before 5:15, and eventually, as the sun grows in power, we'll be moving back towards the 4:15 piece. And then once again fading back to the 5:15. We are in a great time, and family. We are in a great time. We are in a powerful time. We are in a time of legends. And the question is, will you be one of those that our children are talking about? You know what I'm saying? Or will you just be thrown into the dust can of history? You know what I'm saying? We had that choice to make now. You know what I'm saying? Will we be amongst the ones that our children are talking about? For us. It's not too late for us. You know what I'm saying? So now we got some serious thinking and some serious work to do during the day. I will once again be up in the morning to pour with y'all, but I am out.
Peace.
Peace. Somebody got their own sound effects. Kind of shut down.